What is Nodism? Well, we programmers are very logical people, and we've been modeling life. We've been making games and simulation using object-oriented programming. We do artificial intelligence. We're very logical people modeling life, and that is the definition of philosophy. So I take all of us as being Nodists in the Nodist colony. And we are practicing Nodism. So let's take a look. So this is the Danzen Museum at danzen.com, and come here and drag this thing around. One of the exhibits is called Philosophy, and there's also this one on a tour here. If you go to the tour, there's a Nodism tour. So here's where we can see some of these things. We'll click the Philosophy first. And this goes to the Expo, which was 52 exhibits, one exhibit each week for a whole year. And this is the Philosophy exhibit. There I am. This is the Eye of Nodism. It's on a hose hanging. It's the world's longest eel. It goes all the way along a storefront. And that's the Eye of Nodism there, or Node 0. On this wall hanging as well, there's a Node 0 in here. The past holds no oars. It's fantastic. Only ands are in the past, and only oars are in the future. So millions of logical people model life every day in creating games and simulations. They do so using a paradigm called object-oriented programming, which is based on classes that act as templates for objects with properties, methods, and events. The logical modeling of life can be considered a philosophy. And here's a Nodism blog. It's a little bit out of date. I've been doing Nodism for about 10 years, and it comes and goes. These are called node globes, which is pretty cool. That's just an HTML page. Isn't that neat? And then lots and lots of diagrams and sketches. This one's fairly important. If a bike has a red and it's my bike, it's in the driveway, it has wheels, it's a thing, any of its properties can be brought out. So here's property 1, and the bike dangled underneath it, property 2. So here's things that are red and a bike. Here's things that include a bike. Here's things that are mine, and the bike is there. So we're just taking any of the properties and dangling them up above. So these are various sketches which are working out inputs and outputs. Aren't they quite beautiful? Look at all the tree-like structures. This is working out, I think a nomenclature, a naming of hierarchies as we go up and down the left. Do you see how we're naming these hierarchies, or nodes in the hierarchy? Here are various senses and what's going in our bodies. There's one of the original sketches of the isomorphisms of hierarchy between a tree-like structure, a tree-like structure, and the more rigid traditional hierarchy structure. And those are just a few. The creativity framework is based on Nodism. We took a look at that when we looked at patterns. Here's node notes, which in the end I just stopped doing because I realized I was making the internet. So I was like, okay, forget that. Coding. Also, there's a coding tour, so you can take the coding tour and see how that relates to Nodism. So that is that one on the museum. There's also the Nodism tour, which is quite similar. Here's the creation of the word Nodism and so forth while I was making node notes. Crazy person's writing, so to speak. More pictures. Creativity framework. stories. There's a number of stories. Altura is a pseudo-interactive storytelling app that I made, and it all talks about Nodism. There's the meta sci-fi, which is helping out with Nodism. There's nanotechnology, etc. All that is relating in there in the meta mystery. Here's the current status of Nodism. Developed it during the 2000s. And several sketchbooks. I used an official sketchbook, and I ended up on the free thinking side, just the free thinking side just completely filled up. Take a look at this. These are nodes, strings, like when beads, perhaps bead strings of the Aztecs, perhaps they were dealing with nodes. Otherwise, you don't see this kind of stuff around. It should be more on walls of ancient times. Hierarchies are so basic that I would expect to see these types of patterns everywhere. The only place I really saw a lot of these patterns is just briefly in a Noam Chomsky video. I saw a bit of his sketchbooks, and it looked like kind of similar things going on there. I don't think quite as much, though. All right, so that is Nodism there. And just recently, I did this one. This is the isomorphisms of hierarchy. So I'll hit play on this.
Drawers and a hierarchy. And that breaks down into A, B, C, D, E of information with delimiters. The delimiters mark DNA, which can form cells, trees of information. And then the mind map, and I am inventor Dan.
And the radial hierarchy there. When I was up there, it was kind of like announcing the pause. And how do we get out of this thing? F11, I guess. So that is what is Nodism. So you're welcome to hang out and find out more about that here at zimjs.com. We will post in the Zim Learn section, we will post a section underneath the tutorials, the workshops, and the lessons. There will be a Beyond section in there where we'll post some links to all this kind of stuff. I'm inventor Dan Zen. Have a great day, and consider yourself, by all means, consider yourself a nodist and a member of the let's see what we call it, the nodist colony. Do you like that? The nodist colony. All the best. Ciao.